My friends, how are you? It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video. And as we know, America has gone crazy. Well, we know that for a fact, right? But we had a situation a couple days ago that apparently the right has not learned a single lesson from it all and continues to escalate their hateful rhetoric towards the American people. So, my friends, as you know, for the last 2 days, I have been covering this incident with Charlie Kirk, all right? And this is sort of a lead up to what I'm going to talk about, but it's important to recap exactly what is going on. So recently, as we know, Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at one of his hate rallies over in Utah. And try to convince me as you might, I have spent the last couple days listening to a lot of the things that Charlie Kirk has said, and that is exactly what they are, or what they were rather. And we really don't have time anymore to sugarcoat what is going on as the right continues to escalate its violent rhetoric in America towards the left. We don't have time to sugarcoat this anymore. This is exactly what is happening. So on the topic of Charlie Kirk, I put out a video yesterday explaining that the shooter was actually from the right. Does it matter? Does it not matter? I don't really know. It matters in the sense that the right immediately started calling for extreme levels of violence towards the left because of what had happened to Charlie Kirk. We had found out that this young man was raised in a right-wing family in the, I believe, the Mormon Church, raised on right-wing ideology. And no amount of trying to bullshit me is going to change that, because I had many calls for me to retract what I said. All the usual suspects, my friends, where they tell you that he went to college and that's where he became a liberal and that's what caused all this to happen. And my friends, I gotta be honest with you, I am sick to fucking death of hearing this as an excuse. It is probably true that if people head off to college, go for higher education, they tend to develop more liberal ideas. You know why? Because it involves reading. It involves understanding what the fuck is going on in the world. It gets you out of the ignorant, hate-filled right-wing bubble, the echo chamber that everybody lives in. So while it may be true that somebody goes off to college and they become more liberal in their views, that has to do with education and learning and shit like that. But there is absolutely, at this point, every bit of information I've looked for, no denying that this person leaned much more to the right than they ever leaned to the left. As far as I can tell, they were followers of Nick Fuentes, who has been beefing off and on with Charlie Kirk because he didn't feel like Charlie Kirk was right-leaning enough for his taste. Those are the facts. Those are the things that are coming out. So you guys know me. I go through the comment section. I read what people see, what they say rather. I go and look up the information to try to find out if maybe I was wrong. And if I was wrong, I come back the next day and I make a video saying I was fucking wrong. And in a situation as big as this one, I would have to delete my last 2 videos and take a huge hit to the views that those have accumulated on this channel. But it is a sacrifice I'd be willing to make if I was wrong about what I said. You'll notice those videos are still up. The reason is because I'm not wrong about what I said. This was once again an act of right-on-right violence here in America, where the right immediately called for the heads of the left, going so far as to say the transgender community should be eradicated from the planet after what had happened. Jesse Waters once again called for war against the American people, the people on the left, the people who politically don't align with him, but were in no way involved with pulling the trigger and what happened with Charlie Kirk. The facts cannot change. The facts don't give a fuck about your feelings. We know generally who this person was, what his political leanings were, and we know that he was an eternally online person that got their brain rotted by all the lunatics on the right that run around spreading misinformation and propaganda through the youth of America. This is a huge problem in America as they continue to exploit young people and try to convince them of their bullshit ideas. ideas. This is a problem that is the reason that a lot of people on the left are speaking up and making social media accounts of their own to try to combat the damage that the right is doing to the youth in America. We see this over and over and over again as they continue to radicalize young people, and they go out and they commit atrocious acts just like this one. I want to be clear, I did not like Charlie Kirk. I think that Charlie Kirk was an evil person. I think Charlie Kirk was very harmful to the youth in America. However, I do not sit here wishing that somebody gets shot anywhere but in the fucking neck in front of their family and their fans and their followers. I think that is an absolutely horrible thing. And my friends, as the temperature continues to rise in America, as I told you, the right did not learn a lesson from this. They did not take even a fucking second to understand that their rhetoric needs to be toned down, that they need to apologize for the damage they are causing to the people, and we will not get that apology. Absolutely, we will not get it. Donald Trump will not apologize to the American people, the president of the United States that immediately called for attacks on the left before even knowing who the suspect was. Jesse Waters will not apologize to the American people after declaring war on the left, once again with no idea who the suspect was. And the countless right-wing media influencers who called for extreme violence against the left will not apologize for what they said. The point of all that is, don't ask me to apologize for telling the truth. I'm not going to fucking do it, and I'm not going to back down off of what I said. The information is there, and it says what it says, and there's no way I'm changing that. And that gets me to the point of today's video. As we see, as the right continues to escalate their harmful rhetoric on the American people and continue to blame the left because they are the party of zero personal responsibility at all, they have done it again, my friends. I got this clip sent to me by so many people, and thank you, because I've been very busy around the house today. I haven't had time to look up any news stories to find out what's going on. Fucking 3 minutes spent on the internet, and here we go, all hell breaks loose again. But to prove that I've been very busy at my house, you notice you don't hear the smoke alarm beeping anymore. Yeah, that's one of the problems I addressed around here. That's what I do. I get shit done. That's not the point though, now is it? Fox News this morning decided to have a segment on how to deal with homelessness in America. And I do not know the first gentleman used very loosely in this term when he talked about how homeless people just refuse the assistance they are given, and if they're going to refuse it, then they deserve what they get. That's a bad enough statement because we don't really know the situation of every homeless person out there, and to make a blanket statement like that is somewhat harmful. But for Fox News, that's not as low as the fucking bar gets. Immediately, Brian Kilmeade jumped in and said, or we could just give them forced lethal injections. We could just kill them. That's right, my friends. That's where we're at in America right now. While the left is scrambling to figure out how to politely say we don't condone violence, but also at the same time, Charlie Kirk was an evil person, but we still don't support him getting shot the way he did, or any way, period. We are trying to figure out ways to tone it down. Fox News once again calls for the death of American people right there on the air with no repercussions whatsoever. And this is a fucking problem in America, my friends, because you can bet that Fox News viewers were sitting there cheering it on, saying, hell yeah, we need to get out there and we need to kill the homeless of America. My friends, they're not learning a fucking thing now, are they? One of their own was gunned down in broad daylight in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people. Sure, that's a bad thing. Obviously, it is. But then they come around the next day after spending 2 days calling for our fucking heads, my friends, and finding out that they were wrong afterwards. I am having to listen to an extreme amount of bullshit from the right these days. Nancy Mace, who immediately called for death of this person after finding out that he was on the right, she then went on to say, we must pray for this poor lost soul. He needs Jesus in his life. life motherfucker. They have no morals, they have no standards, they have no principles, my friends. And I cannot sit here on the left side of the political spectrum and say, you know what, maybe they're right. Maybe we should kill the homeless. That is a goddamn evil thing to say, especially now in the economy that Donald Trump has destroyed through all of Donald Trump's trade wars, through the tariffs, through the rising of American prices because of Donald Trump's trade wars, to the people that are losing their small business because of Donald Trump's trade wars, to the people that are becoming unemployed because of Donald Trump's trade wars, to the farmers that are going bankrupt and losing their family farm that they've had for generations because of Donald Trump's trade wars. Donald Trump is creating homelessness in America while Fox News says line them up. Let's kill their asses. Let's do that. And they are going to continue to ramp up the rhetoric and attack the American people. These fuckers have not learned a goddamn thing. While the rest of us are saying this is a tragedy, even though Charlie Kirk was an evil person, understanding the slippery slope that America is now in, Fox News and the right wing continues to escalate the rhetoric. I wish I could look at you and say that I had a fucking answer to this, that I knew what was the right thing to do, and I really fucking don't at this point. Is my method the right way? Standing my ground and not apologizing for presenting the facts to my audience? Is that the fucking way? Who knows? I could end up in the same boat here pretty soon. That's the way America is going right now. I get it, my friends. I'm not trying to have a pity party, but I know who I am. I understand the situation that I'm in. When I walk around those truck stop parking lots with a bunch of MAGA lunatics surrounding me at any moment, you bet your ass they know who I am. And they would not react the same way that we are reacting if it was to happen to someone on our side. They would be celebrating in the streets. They would be talking about how they deserved it. They would be talking about who their next target is, and they would refuse to try to ratchet down the rhetoric even a little bit. America has become a downright scary fucking place to live, where it used to be about political opinions, and it's not about that anymore. They try to tell us over and over, this happens because of our political ideology. We're not allowed to have political views in America without getting shot. You were shot by one of your own first. That has to be acknowledged and that has to be admitted, or we're never going to fucking get anywhere. And we're not talking about political ideology anymore. Charlie Kirk said that it is okay for a few people to get killed every year as long as the rest of Americans get to hold on to their gun rights. Charlie Kirk said a lot of hateful fucking things. Charlie Kirk called for violence against minorities in America. I can't condone that. I can't support that, and I can't be on the side of that. But after that's all said and done, after the smoke clears, so to speak, here we sit, my friends, listening to a Fox News anchor that will face no repercussions whatsoever, that will not lose his job, that will not face any kind of lawsuits, that will continue to spread his hate all over Fox News, all over the globe, through his media outlet, talk about how now we need to start killing the homeless. My friends, I don't even know where to start with that. I touched on Donald Trump's economy and how he's creating homelessness, but there are so many factors that go into becoming homeless in America, and a lot of them are America's veterans, the people that have went to wars. Look, agree with wars, don't agree with wars. I've always stood by that. I'm not here to tell you if you agree with going to war or not, but regardless, these were brave people that went out and fought for basically the elites in our country to go out and kill people, risk their lives for that fucking idea, unfortunately, and they came back in bad mental health with damaged and broken bodies, and a lot of them ended up fucking homeless. Brian Kilmeade now says kill those same people. That's right. I don't know Brian Kilmeade's military background, and perhaps I should have looked that up before I came on and did this video, and I'm going to look it up immediately after. I can't say for sure if he was in the military or not, but he is openly calling for the death of America's veterans now. And a lot of people acted like I was crazy when I was calling out Elon Musk and Donald Trump for referring to America's veterans as waste, fraud, and abuse, when they decided to fire them all from their jobs and decided they weren't worthy of employment either. I was shocked the amount of people on the right coming to their defense when the right is very much about the military. It's ingrained in the culture of the right wing to join the military as soon as you're of age to do so. And then Elon Musk and Donald Trump come out and start firing them, and all those principles go out the window. Well, with so much of our veterans being homeless and Brian Kilmeade saying, let's go ahead and just kill them all, Do those principles still go out the window? Or does somebody on the right finally get their heads out of their fucking asses and stand up and say, this is not okay? We have got to knock this off in this country. People on the left don't generally call for violence, and if they do, they're not in my fucking circle. People on the left call for self-defense quite a bit, and I 100% support that. Always defend yourself. But the right continues to escalate in this country right in front of us. I personally do not want to hear even a little bit more bullshit about how the left is the party of violence while they go on their news outlets and they say this shit. And with that said, my friends, I'm done with my rant, but fuck Brian Kilmeade. I didn't know who he was, but he has now been added to my fuck you Brian Kilmeade list. That's a very specific list, but you get exactly what I'm trying to say. Anyways, with that said, my friends, I got more shit to do around here. Love you guys. Bye now.